up, amen. David is saying that the shepherd sometimes has to physically take him and put him down. Let me give you a few things on that. I love to have the hand of the Lord on me, amen.
Amen.
I believe it's strong, it's powerful, and it's also meek and lowly and loving and caring. But sometimes He has to just get a hold of us and put us where He needs us to be. Now listen to this point. I also believe that in the middle of green pastures, the Lord can put us down so that we cannot be seen of the enemy. Listen to me real good now. What I want you to know that when you're running, I've ran from the cops a few times. Fred, can I get an amen on that? Yeah, I know that I've ran from the cops, but you know what we did do? We never ran up on the rooftop. We didn't jump up on top of the cars and try to hide. You know what we did? We got down as low as we could. We hide behind the garbage can, behind the tire of the car, because we wanted to be out of sight of the enemy as we thought it was at that day. I'm trying to tell you, when the Lord is always putting you down, He makes me to lie down. It's not always a good thing, and it's not always a bad thing, but it's for your good. Amen.
Amen. That's right.
I said it's for your good to be where the Lord wants you to be. All right, if you can understand that, if you can grasp that, I'll give you this again. Wednesday, you'll shout about that. All right. All right. The Lord make that phrase that makes me. It just gets my attention. It's because it's something I needed. I guess that's really what I want to say.
Amen.
It's just something that I needed. He made me to lie down.
Yeah.
And what boggles me is that somebody in the flesh, if I'm in the middle of the green pastures, what in the world I need to be made to lay down for?
Yeah.
Because there's a purpose in it, amen? God has a purpose in that. All right, let me share this with you. Sometimes He has to make us see what it is that is down there and that is for us. So filled are we with self-pride that we cannot see what our needs are. And we get so overwhelmed with life and our own selfishness, we can't see what our flesh or our spiritual needs are.
Right.
All right, so His touch upon us, His tolerance, this is what I think He's trying to make us see. I wrote these things down. You can take them if you like to. His touch is upon us. His tolerance towards our sinning and rebelling and unwillingness. And I think, I'm talking about when He makes us to lie down. Here's what He's trying to get us to see. That His hands, or He's touching us, that He is tolerant towards our sinning, rebelling, and unwillingness. He's also putting us down that we can see where the devil's traps are. Sometimes I think that we become so spiritual that we think we can't fall.
That's right.
I think we become so secured in the Word, and I know all the hymns, and if you just give me a number, I know the song. We think we're so good sometimes, and we're so flying high that we don't see the trap that's laid out there before us. And when He makes us to lie down, it gets us down. I'll tell you, give you a visual for me. I'm a bowler. And what they do on the bowling lanes, they put oil out there on the lanes. And if you physically get down on your hands and knees, you can look down the lane and you can see where the oil is and where the oil is not. By having that knowledge, I know how to address the lanes. I'm trying to tell you, if you take time to get down on your hands and knees and spend time with God, you have the knowledge to know how to attack what's laying out there before you. Amen? Does that analogy help or does it work? You can see it if you're willing to get down and let the Lord get you there. Amen. So He maketh me to lie down.
Amen.
So He maketh me to lie down. Verse number 2. Again in verse 2, He said, in green pastures. I just wrote this down. Sweet and full are the pastures of the Lord.
Amen.
Boy, I tell you, I don't know what it is about deer, but where we go down in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, there's this empty field just about half a mile from my buddy Gary's house. You come by there just about twilight or dusk, either time, and that field is overrun with weeds, and it's just, it's probably 5-6 feet high. I don't know what happens in there. But I'm telling you, there's probably 50 to 100 deer that run around in this acreages of land. And I don't know what sparks them to do this, but they jump around and parade in there where they're jumping over these 5 and 6 foot tall plentifuls of weeds and because they eat the greens. That's what they eat. So they're jumping around in all the midst of this plenteous, and they're 2-3 feet higher than the weeds that are out there that are 5 or 6 feet tall. You know what they're doing? They're just enjoying the green pastures of the Lord. I told Gary we were riding through, he said, them stupid deer, look at them out there. They're jumping around. I said, man, what a visual for me spiritually. It's because they're so overwhelmed with where they are, the blessing of this big field that nobody gave to. They just are overrunning what God has blessed them with. I believe that when David is saying this in this part, that he maketh me to lie down in green pastures, it's just so good, so sweet, and so full. He said, I don't know what else to say about it other than I'm going to lay here for a little while. Amen. What do you want to do when you get there? I'll jump around. I'll be like them. It doesn't matter. I just want to be in the middle of God's blessing. Amen. That's what I want to do. All right. So let me move on quickly. He leadeth me. The next part of that verse. He maketh me to lie down in green pasture. Then he leads me. I just put real quick on this one. I'm so thankful I have someone to follow as well as someone willing to lead. Amen. Amen. There's a lot of sheep in this world that are running around aimlessly without a leader. Yeah. And there's a lot of leaders that don't have sheep following them because they're not leading in the right way.
That's right. Amen.
Amen, preacher. Yeah, that's the truth. There's sheep looking for a shepherd. And there's shepherd that needs some sheep.
Absolutely.
I'm telling you, it's out there.
Amen.
I'm telling you, it's out there. So he said he leads me. I'm just so thankful I have someone willing. I have someone to follow and willing to lead. Amen? Amen. Let me finish the verse. Number 2. We're going to spend a moment on this one. He leads me where? Beside the still waters. Waters, well, I spent a lot of time on this week. Waters have many different operations in our day-to-day life. Do you know that water under pressure is one of the most powerful things out there? You can condense water and then pressurize it in a tank, lay a quarter down underneath it, put a small diameter of a jet on there, and a certain amount of pressure will blow a hole with water through the middle of that quarter. That's water under pressure. There's water usages. I wrote some things down here. Water produces energy like the Hoover Dam does. That's what it does. It produces energy. Have you ever seen those old pictures of those old farmhouses that are right along a stream and they got a big water wheel right next to the house? That's the water producing energy for the house. They're using a natural resource. Stay with me on this. They're using a natural resource for a fleshly benefit. Oh, stay with me now. I'll give you a few more things on this. You'll see this. All right, so water produces energy like out at Hoover Dam. Water causes devastation in floods and in hurricanes and big rains, monsoons of rains. Water and its continuous flow, listen to this one, bring calm to a stressed soul. I can tell you right now, if I would go to Myrtle Beach and I would sit at Captain's Quarters Hotel, which is right on the water, right on the ocean, and you know, I worked about 60 hours this week. If I would have went there Saturday morning, flew to Myrtle Beach, sat by the poolside or ocean side, the calmness of those waves in the stress-filled environment that I live in, I'd have went to sleep in a minute. That's what the water can do for you. I'm talking about a natural thing taking care of your fleshly needs to be calm. Stay with me, I'm going to give you a few more things. I'm going to get real in-depth on this. Water brings refreshing to a thirsty soul. What does it do? It produces energy, it can cause devastation, it calms a stressful soul, it refreshes the thirsty soul, it cleanses, and water brings life as a filterizational system. Oh, stay with me on this one now. You can find yourself out, we were in Tennessee. We hiked this mountain up. Some of us hiked, some walked, some struggled. Made it up to the top, 1.5 mile. 1.5 mile we went up. At the very top of this mountain was a spring coming out.
Yeah,
I'm a germ freak. Most of you know that. I was dying for some water by the time we got up there. I wasn't too worried about all the plants and all the stuff wherever this water was coming from. Water is a natural filtration system. The rocks, the algae, and all the moss and all that, it's a natural. You know what I did when I got up there? I stood there probably from here to the back wall away from the fall. And I wanted to get close enough to the fall that I could get some of the water for my thirsty soul. But when I looked at it, there was kids swimming in the water. And then there was a guy over there who took his shoes off and had his feet in there wading in the water. I'm a jerk freak. You know where I wanted to get water? Was down the side of the rocks, down at the bottom, where I was praying. It was filtered for my good because of those that were bathed and those that had their feet in there. Do you know that when you're really thirsty, you don't care what they're doing up on top? You're just going to get down there where the water is. And you're going. I got down there, and on my hands and knees, I lapped that water up like a dog. I was doing this. I needed the refreshing that the water was bringing. When the Lord is taking David from where they were to where He wants them to be, it's because He's trying to tell him there's a calmness, there's energy, there's victory, there's thirst for your soul here at the calm, still water.
Right.
What I'm trying to tell you, what David is saying, that He leads me beside. Why did He lead me there? Because I needed the benefit of the water that was there.
Amen.
That's what a good shepherd does for you. He takes care of your natural thing or your fleshly things through natural blessings of a spring of water. Amen? All right, I hope you got all that. I know that there's a lot. I've got more we can talk about. Here we go. He leadeth me beside still waters. This is that phrase. We would not, nor could we go there ourselves. That's what struck me about that. I don't have the ability to get there. But if I'm following a shepherd, here's what He knows the way. He's been there before, and He knows when I get there, it's going to be good. Isn't that good? I can't get there by myself, but He knows the way. He knows what's there waiting for me, and when we get there, it's going to be good. Boy, that's good. He's leading me. All right, I got to move on. I'm only at verse 3. Pastor, man, I'm not going to get all this. We got like 10 minutes. Number 3. Verse number 3. He restored my soul. Let me give you a few things on this. The shepherd knows, in verse 3, the shepherd knows what I'm in need of. Well, that ought to help you right there. He restored my soul in verse 3. Let me read the whole verse. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for His name's sake. He restoreth my soul. So many times we try to do it on our own, get our own restoration, and we fail. Amen? I got one. Yeah, amen? Yeah, we try to do it on our own, and we fail.
That's right.
But He restoring my soul, He knows exactly what I'm in need of.
Right.
Amen? Sometimes, Pastor, I can't really tell you what I need.
Yeah, I understand.
We just sometimes we don't have the verbiage, the words. We don't know what we really need. But the Bible says that the Lord, He understands the groanings of His people. The mourning, all that. He understands that and can meet the need in His wisdom and His knowledge and His ability. He can take care of what I can't even talk about. Amen?
Right.
I'm glad He can. He said He restored my soul. The shepherd knows what I'm in need of. When my cup has run out, He knows what needs to be put back inside of it. It's even better than when you go to the restaurant and there's one person walking. I'm a coffee guy, and there's one person walking around with a pot of coffee. It's better than that person because they know what I need in that cup is coffee. The Lord knows what I need down deep inside of my soul more than that guy does with the pot of coffee.
Right. Amen.
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 And listen, it works the same way. You fill the water fills the coffee pot fills the cup fills me, and I can give to you. Spiritually, that we spend time with the Lord, who is the source of water.
Right.
He fills us, we fill each other, and another one, and another one. It's a constant giving out. Amen?
Right.
That's what happened.
Right.
He restored my soul. So, I thought about some things to put in the cup. Anyone in need of grace, He has it. Anyone in need of being loved, He has it.
That's right.
Anyone in need of wisdom, He has it. Anyone in need of being saved or salvation, He has it.
Amen.
I'm trying to tell you what the verse is saying. He restored my soul. He has what you need. Amen?
Amen.
Amen. That's what's going on. All right, I got to move on. I'm running out of time. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for His name's sake. He it is that is leading me in His paths of righteousness. Notice this word here. He's saying here, He restored my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for His name's sake. A good shepherd knows the good path. Amen? A good shepherd knows the good path. What I'm saying in that, he knows where the still waters are. He knows where the greenest grass is. He knows where there's a place for me to lay down. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. That's what he does. Let me give you a couple things. He says, it is his name that needs to be lifted up, not ours. Amen?
Yes, amen.
We talked in Sunday school. Nicholas, I'm going to talk about you for a minute, all right? All right, Nicholas? Yeah, all right, yeah. Pastor said, if you didn't have to go to school, what would you do? He said, oh, I want to play football. I want to play football. Okay, great. If you don't have an education to get a scholarship to go to, you're not going to get,
You'll never get
you're not-
scouted
yeah.
out, right.
Unless you're going to be the ultimate walk-on person that's going to walk into college down here. You know, and then what that means is all the focus gets put on Nicholas and not the team. I'm not talking bad about Nicholas.
Right, right.
What I'm saying is, it's not an individual thing we need to be focused on.
That's right.
It's
amen.
the individual
You
God
have to be
that we
a
need
team
to be
player.
focused
Right.
on.
Amen.
Amen?
Amen.
It's not the player out on the field,
Yeah.
it's the God who gave the player the ability to be the player that's out on the field.
Amen.
Amen? That's our focus.
Yeah.
It's got to be upon Him. All right, verse 4. I got to move on. I can't spend more time. Number 4. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff. They, I love it, they comfort me. I
Yeah.
love it. It says here, yea, though I walk. David's reference is still toward the shepherd. Listen to this. He said, yea, though I walk. That means that he's still following the shepherd. Understand that? As David being the sheep, he's telling us that in the being the sheep, he still is following the shepherd. Yea, though I walk. Where is he walking? Through the valley of the shadow of death. He's saying that here, David is still following the shepherd. My question to you is, are you? Are you still following the shepherd? He knows where to lead me. He knows where the dangers are. He knows the traps that await me. I'm following him. And listen, in following him, I am safe. It's when I get off the path that the shepherd is taking me on, is when I get in trouble. That's when I get in hurts and pains and sorrow. That's when I struggle in life, is when I get off the path. Can I get an amen on that?
Amen.
That's when you're going to get in trouble, is when you get off the path that the shepherd is leading you down. I'm telling you, he's leading me. All right, I got to move through the valley of the shadow of death. He finishes the verse out. He said, just remember what the text says. He's not leading me to the valley. He's leading me through the valley. Sometimes before we can ever get to the top of the mountain, we got to start at the bottom. Sometimes we spend more time at the bottom because we're too worried about what's down there and not the goodness that's up there.
Right.
Amen?
That's right, amen.
The sun shines up on top of the mountain, by the way.
Yes.
That's where the greenest, hey, trust me, I spent 10 days, we went to Wales last year, and all the shepherds had their sheep out on the very crest of the hills where the sun was coming. They were out there feeding, and you know what they did? They took shrubs and sorted off little areas and kept them in the greenest fields because they knew that's where they get the best nourishment. I'm trying to tell you they not only did that, they put markings on their sheep to know which one was theirs. And when you drove by, you could see a blue mark, a red mark, you would know which shepherd they belong to. We are known by the shepherd we follow, and the words that come out of our mouth is what we say, the sheep that we are. Amen?
Amen.
Yes, sir. That's what happens. There you go, I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Man, I fear no evil, for thou art with me. You can say it if you want, but I'm going. You can stay down in the valley if you want to, but I'm going to the top of the mountain.
Amen.
Amen?
Amen.
I'm not into this valley living. I'm not into that. I want to be up in the top. Where Darren, our missionary, lives is Rhonda Valley. And it's down in the middle of the mountains. They were flooded out a few years ago while he was here in the States on deputation going around, or not a deputation, he was giving reports to all the churches that he was supported by. His church at home was under 12 feet of water. Living in the valley is not the best place to be. But I'm telling you, when you get to the mountaintop, I think somebody even sung today, the view's better from on top than it is down in the bottom.
Yeah,
Amen? Amen. So I'm walking through the valley. I got to hurry. I gotta hurry. Fear no evil, he goes on to say, notice that he didn't say there would be no evil. You gotta pay attention.